Oh, morning Trainiacs. I didn't see you there because I certainly didn't set up the camera to walk into it with my towels before I did this swim. Something that I've been getting wrong for a little while is, as you might know, I've been working on my catch, getting that nice bent arm like this instead of a straight arm like that, which tends to hurt the shoulders. Now, on this side, I've done that, but with a way that isn't quite good for the shoulders and isn't a very powerful catch. But I ended up getting some instruction while I was down in Kona from one of the best swimmers in the world ever. Carlin Pipes helped me get an understanding of what the technique should be for that catch. And she didn't name it this, but I'm gonna call that the wristwatch technique because it's completely different than catching with your hand. I'm gonna share that with you after I get some footage so I can show you what it is. Hi Pete, you wanna come in the pool? Oh, smokes! Oh, you just want up here because the camera's up there. You haven't said hi to the camera in a while. Whoa! Yeah, buddy. That was a half-hour swim and everyone asks, how do you count distance? You don't count distance. Like, you know that if you're going hard for 25, in my case it takes about 20 seconds. So I do 20-second intervals timed by this here, the gymnex.ca timer. And then I just calculate it off of that. Like if I want to do an easy 200, I know that's probably going to take me somewhere around 3 minutes 30 seconds. So I set the timer for 3 minutes 30. I set the jets for an easy speed, and we go. You guys. Oh, Pete wants in so bad. They're all full of beans. These guys are full of beans, and they like having room for activities in the new pain cave. Whoa. All right, so here's what I want to show you with the catch. The catch is really important because it's what pushes you forward. In Tower 26, you got tautness, alignment, propulsion. Propulsion is the catch and the pull-through phase. And it's really important to get that right because tautness, alignment, propulsion, it is a third of what drives us forward. It's how we actually propel ourselves to go forward. In full disclosure, I'm no longer doing the Tower 26 plan right now. I just didn't think it was fair to Coach Jerry Rodriguez for me to be doing a whole bunch of swimming here and kind of trying to join a swim squad and then still being on his plan. So this is all my stuff here. So we look at that right there. You see that bent elbow right there? That is around right there. We're talking about 104 degrees. That's kind of where you want. You want somewhere in between around like 100 degrees and 115 degrees, I think is the number. And why you want that is think about if you were to lift yourself out of a pool. You're not gonna go with straight arms and go like that because you're not very powerful. You're also not gonna be really tight in there. You're gonna be kind of around that middle area, push yourself out. Now, what I've got on that right arm, totally fine. Now let's play this forward and I'll show you an incorrect catch just right there with my left arm. My left arm I've really been struggling with. As you can see, we have a degree of closure of like, it's basically straight. Now, why you don't want that is because, like I say, you're not very powerful out there, you're not pushing a lot of water, and just go like that puts a lot of pressure on the shoulder. And if I ever develop shoulder problems, it's in that shoulder. Now we'll play this forward a little bit and you'll see that I've fixed it on the right side, but by doing one thing that is not correct. And that's where we get into the wristwatch technique. So this here is old Taren. As of a couple months ago, I would go in and take a look at that right hand with what I'm doing there. This is me exaggerating what I did. So I would break that hand down so that I could feel the water and really catch it. So watch that, and then we'll watch here. I stop, and then here's what I'm working towards being just a little bit more straight, less break. So you see that? Instead of this big broken wrist here, which is at some points, boom, we're talking like almost, we're talking 130 degrees. What I'm working towards now is more like this, which is at its most, we are looking at 150 degrees. Now, here's the reason that you want to do that. So while you're sitting here, just do one thing. I want you to put your hand out straight, go like this, and then put your opposite hand just on your fingertips and try to push down from your fingertips. When you're doing that, notice where the pressure is. Give you a second to think about it. Notice where you're feeling that strength coming from. You're probably going to feel it from up here. Now what I want you to next do is move your opposite hand to your forearm, right around where your wristwatch would be, and push straight down from there. Now when you're doing that, feel where the power is coming from. Give you a second to think about that. And where you should have felt that is here, the lats. What is a stronger muscle group? That or that? Obviously, it's these big back stabilizing lat muscles. We want to be able to use our stabilizing lat muscles instead of our little shoulder muscles. That's where the wristwatch technique comes in. I'm going to show it to you. All right, so the wristwatch technique is this. When you come in, hi guys, still full of beans. Come on guys, come on up here. Come on, up here, up here. Oh, there you go. Okay, chill out. Lie down. Stay, stay. So the wristwatch technique is this. If you're working on your catch and you're trying to get that nice bent elbow, instead of trying to feel it with your hand here and encouraging that shoulder-driven catch where you're not very powerful because you're just putting a lot of pressure on your fingertips and your small muscle shoulders, instead, think about leading with your wrist. Now, if you think about leading with your wrist and having a firm hand, it's going to end up looking like, you know, those big stand-up paddleboarding paddles? What you'll see is that they're almost all cocked back a little and then like this. So you get yourself a very nice, very straight paddle to push back. So you want to start with that wrist, finish with that wrist, because you've got to continue to push back with your hand straight down. So you're leading with the wristwatch, and that is the wristwatch technique. And if you take a look at our protriathlontraining.com swim footage from Lucy Charles, she does exactly that. There's points where her wrist is the first thing that's pushing back, and she's pretty good. So two things. If you want to see some of the best swimming in the world, you want to get some of the best swim instruction in the world, go to protriathlontraining.com, go to the Lucy Charles swim course where you can learn how Lucy Charles swims. She's like awesome and lovely. And if you want to follow along with more swim tips like this, if you're a beginner triathlete and you're struggling to swim, we have a swim spa in here from Master Spas, so we are now cranking out a heck of a lot more swim content that's a little bit more in-depth than we were able to do when we had to sneak cameras into the pool. So be subscribed. These guys are just going to continue to be full of beans. Later, Trainiacs.